I'm starting week 1 of our Elemental Foundations community tag, and I'm so excited to dig into these prompts. Pun intended, let's do this. Welcome, Wild Ones! I'm the Wild Witch. I'm visually impaired, but magic has no limitations. So a few months ago, I put up a poll over on my channel's post tab, asking you all to vote for which element you feel the most connected to. Earth was the top choice, and this makes total sense to me because Earth is my favorite element by far. Maybe I'm being a little bit biased there, but for many of us, Earth is an element that we're interacting with on a daily basis, whether we're realizing it or not. It's ever present in our lives. And in my opinion, Earth is. It's the planet that we live on, so it's so much more than just an element. And it's such an easy, approachable element to work with. It's very tangible. There are so many ways in which you can work with it, so I'm not surprised at all. But I did actually put up a new poll on my channel's post tab if you want to head on over there and vote after this video, because I'm really curious about what you say and vote for on this one. So go on over, cast your vote after this. But let's get into the first question.
How do you perceive the qualities of Earth elemental energy?
To me, Earth elemental energy has so many qualities. It's so rich and so layered. I feel like I would need a video just to unpack all the qualities, but to me, Earth energy at its core is wild. It is untamed, it's feral, it's primal. There's something primordial and old and ancient about Earth and energy. And it reminds me of how animals act within nature. They tend to act on instinct rather than emotion. So to me, Earth is very much instinctual. I do correlate the rhythms of nature to the Earth element because it is the planet that we live on. And each seasonal shift has its own qualities. So I'll kind of explain what I mean by going through each season with you, starting with spring. So I would associate the qualities Earth elemental of spring with growth, new growth specifically, and renewal, because it's a time where things are starting to come back and there's growth happening under the ground, things are starting to pop up, and it's just a time of overall new beginnings. So going on to the Earth elemental qualities of summer, I would associate that with abundance and vitality. To me, there's just something in the air and it's all around me, this abundant, fertile energy. It's a nurturing energy, and it's the time where I feel my connection to the Earth at its strongest, and it's just so vibrant and so alive. Like the Earth is buzzing in summer, literally, because like bees, but also just that energy. It's humming, and it is, to me, very intense, very noticeable during this time. But going on to fall, I would associate Earth with the harvest and with letting go. So gathering up everything that we've learned throughout the year or experienced throughout the year, and then releasing what we no longer need, like the trees let go of their leaves and shed them. Man, winter is a rough one. I struggle the most during this time, but the qualities I would associate with winter are death, dormancy, reflection, and rest. And it's a time where we go more inward. And it's a time for us to settle, to be embracing the stillness and the quiet. I think that's why I struggle with winter. But it kind of makes us take a pause and do that reflecting. That way we're ready for that fresh renewal and life-giving energy of spring. So now that I think about it, earth energy definitely does have like a life, death, rebirth energy to it.
In what way do you connect with earth energy in your daily life?
I usually try to connect with earth energy several times a day. It's during those simple moments. And it's usually when I'm taking my dogs out to go to the bathroom. I know it's not super glamorous, but it's that time where I can focus on my connection with the earth. Like while I'm watching them and keeping my eye on them, doing the good dog mom thing, I take my time to be fully present and fully aware and mindful of my bodily connection with the earth. So I will heighten all of my senses and engage with my senses. What am I hearing? What am I seeing to the best of my ability? What am I smelling? I would say tasting, but I don't just like do that, you know, unless it's like something from my garden. That sense I don't engage very frequently, but I do make an effort to touch the plants within my garden, to touch grass, literally touch grass, and to touch trees and connect with them. One thing I absolutely love is earthing, having my feet upon the earth, absorbing those free electrons. And even if I can't take my shoes off, I am just allowing the earth to just cradle me and to hold me, to know that she's supporting me. So I know it's not like the prettiest practice out there, but it works for me. And another thing I do like to do is do this same method but out in nature. I don't get to go out there as often, so I usually just settle for my backyard or anywhere on my property. Another way that I like to connect with earth energy is in my kitchen. I know it can be mundane and magical, but being able to cook with locally grown natural ingredients, especially the ones that I grow myself, this is the best connection because you're literally bringing that energy within as you're ingesting it. You're internalizing that earthly connection, bringing that grounding energy within you. So I love doing that, you know, consuming and just not just being a part of the earth, but having the earth be a part of me, to fuel me, to energize me, to help me go throughout my day. You're carrying that energy forward.
How does the element of earth influence your personal growth and stability?
It reminds me to slow down and be patient because just like plants, growth doesn't immediately happen overnight when we want it to. So it's really allowing things to happen and to unfold in their own time when they're meant to. The earth element also helps me to stay grounded and firmly, strongly rooted in times of chaos, uncertainty, upheaval. That way, I do find my stability and I do keep my footing.
In what ways do you work with earth in your unique spiritual journey?
I definitely say I use earth magic the most within my practice. So there's a lot of ways that I like to do this, and I do feel like it deserves its own video. So I'm just gonna briefly go over them. Some of them, not all of them, but my main go-tos. Definitely drumming for me. That is my way of tapping into the consciousness of the earth. There's something that feels so primal and ancient about it. And as I use my drum, to me, that is the heartbeat, the pulse of the earth coming through an extension of myself. And I use my drumming for various things, for cleansings, for banishings, for raising energy, for getting into a meditative state. Like, my drum, I use on a daily basis. It is definitely more than a magical tool. It's a magical companion for me, and it is made of buffalo skin, so I do connect animals to the earth. So that's one of my main forces of magic. And another one I've really been enjoying lately is my staff. And I've been making an effort to use it more. So I use my staff when I'm out in nature or even in my yard, gathering up that earthly energy, storing it in my staff to use for later when I need it, and especially for pulling up energy from places that I consider special or significant out in nature. Of course, with permission. I wouldn't do it any other way. I also use my staff to put energy or intentions into the earth around me. I also enjoy tree magic within my practice, working trees within my charms, my spells, all that kind of stuff. But I also just love connecting with the trees in my local area, getting to know them, building relationships with them, and learning the wisdom that they have to offer. And I especially love connecting with the trees in the Ogham. I haven't been able to find every single tree within the Ogham in my area, but that's what the astral's for, being able to find other ways to connect with those trees of the Ogham alphabet. And I love working with my herbal allies, my plant spirits, everything in my apothecary. Like, herbal magic is a huge proponent in my earth magic. So I especially love growing my own plants to use in later workings. There's something so magical about starting plants from seed, because you have influence, you have an impact on the whole life cycle of that plant, starting the seed, watching it grow into a little seedling, and tending to it and caring for it as it flourishes all the way to harvest, the drying process, storage. Like, you have a relationship with that plant through the whole cycle. So, and the more you get to know your plant spirit allies, well, for me anyway, the more potent my magic becomes. You know, it's building a relationship with those plants. Another magical process is getting to know my local bioregion, getting to know the local land spirits, not just on my property, but out in nature, the places that I visit. Not just getting to know them and building a relationship with them, but having a working relationship with them is huge for me. And a way that I like to get to know my bioregion is actually through documenting everything. Any single finding that I have, I write it down. I have a huge document on my computer just filled with all this information. So I like to write down the local plants in my area, and I'll put down when I first notice them, when they start popping up during the season that they start to grow again, when they fully flourish, when they start to die back. I'll also write down like the first and last frost dates. I'll write down when the first snow is of the year, when the last snow is of the year, like what animals I see out in nature, because to me, the animals that I notice with my bad eyesight, I don't see a lot of animals, unfortunately, but the ones that are brought to my awareness, I consider them to be omens. And I I'm starting to build up a list of like the animals in my local area and learn about them. Like the more I learn about the land that I live on, the stronger my relationship is with it, and the stronger my relationship is, the better my connection and magic is. So it's a whole process. I love writing down all the things because it intensifies my magic. The more I know, the more I grow. I do have to start this off by saying I do have SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, and my mood, my energy, my everything is very much impacted by the darker half and the colder half of the year. I also have temperature intolerance. I have heat and cold intolerance. So when I feel awful, depending on what's going on with the temperature, I definitely do very much feel that disconnect. I feel low energy, I feel sluggish, low mood, just down and drained. That's the best way I could put it. But in these times where I'm feeling my lowest, I kind of sometimes have to give myself tough love. As much as I love being out in nature, when these flare-ups happen, I don't want to leave the comfort of my home, of my sofa, or my computer chair. Like, I just want to stay comfortable and I want to stay cozy, and I can't be bothered with nature. Like, no, leave me alone, you know? So this is where that tough love comes in. I will make myself go out into nature. Whether I think I'm going to enjoy it or not, I usually end up enjoying it. There's actually something very aliving about the chill of winter, feeling winter's bite on your skin, that coldness that just, oof, it hits you. Breathing in that frosty air, you know, just feeling that aliving energy in a period of dormancy. It's very refreshing. Honestly, it is. And I don't do this very often, but I have done it. I will take my shoes off and run barefoot in the snow. I can only last like 20 seconds. I'm a bit of a wuss there, but there's just something that does help me to tap into the energy during winter. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but it definitely can help me. Something that I do when I just cannot get myself to leave the house, I will actually keep a pot of dirt in my home. Usually as potting soil or seed starting mix, just something easy, something accessible. This is just a super easy method of grounding. I'll put my hands in the soil, feel it in my fingers, and really revel in that earthly connection. It helps me to stay grounded even when it's cold, because it gives me that hope of warmer weather to come. It gives me hope for the spring, and there's that benefit of just tapping back into that earthly energy. And another thing I like to do, especially during the darker half of the year, is to bring out my crystals. I love my carnelian, especially for low energy, because to me that's like crystallized caffeine. And citrine, because to me that's crystal serotonin. Yes, I prescribe myself crystals. It is a medicine to me, most definitely. And I also like green crystals, so green aventurine to have that fresh growth energy to me. Moss agate for that deeper nature connection. Tree agate helps me to feel that like tree energy. So it's to me the equivalent of going out and touching a tree. So yeah, those are the crystals that I definitely reach for in times of disconnect. So I hope that's helpful.
What lessons have you learned from the earth element?
One of the biggest lessons that I've actually learned from the earth element is to nurture myself like I would take care of a garden. So to take time, stay grounded in that self-care, and to give myself that gentle nurturing that I need to help myself flourish and grow and to be the best me that I potentially can be.
How do you incorporate earth energy into your home and environment?
I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things to do is to bring natural treasures that I find on my adventures into my home. In my opinion, nature is the best place to shop for home decor. And to me, these items that I bring in from nature are really special. They're tied to significant memories that I've made when I was foraging for these items. All of them tell a story, and that brings more magic and more meaning into my home. Looking at them allows me to reflect on those memories, and I'm also bringing in sacred items. I view nature very much as sacred. These places that I've connected to are very special to me. And I'm bringing that sacredness into my home, making it a natural space, a sacred space. And the energy from those natural places influence my home. So I'm very mindful about what I bring into my home, and I'm strategic about where I place it. And I love to decorate seasonally. There's just something about bringing in that seasonal influence, that energy of the season into my home. It helps my practice to feel more alive and in tune with nature and in tune with the seasons. So in like spring and summer, I often bring in flowers, and I like to make bouquets and flower arrangements. And I know that the flowers that I pick each have their own magical properties, so I am mindful of that. But also, I like to be experimental. I like to pair different flowers with each other to see which energies work well. Like, of course, I'm careful, but also I like to give myself room to play around and experiment with that. That way I know what works in my home and what doesn't. So that's magic, right? We're always learning and learning from the earth and her lessons. And in autumn, I love bringing in acorns that I pick. Now, I don't take a lot of acorns. I only take a few a year because I know that the animals rely on them for nourishment to help them survive and thrive through the winter months. So I am very careful about the needs of nature around me, and I always do take things with permission when they feel right, of course. I just don't ignorantly take, and I always do give back. But acorns, definitely for fall. I love bringing in pine cones in the wintertime. It makes me feel connected to that tree energy, like pine cones, fir branches, pine branches. So I do like to bring tree energy into that as well. Different sticks, different branches. All of these things have their own magical properties, So it's all a matter of feeling out the energy, what's going to work in your space and what doesn't. Not only do I decorate my altar and bring that natural energy into that space, but I also do that with my divination table, and I like to create different natural spaces around my home too. I might put acorns on my dining room table or at my front door, weaving them into different charms. Oh, that's another thing. Those natural found items make amazing charms, especially when you combine them with other things, layering in that magic and correspondences. That is so much fun.
Is there a new practice or approach with earth energy that you'd like to explore?
There's quite a few things that I'm eager to try or to work with more within my practice. So one of which is clay. I want to start working with clay more. The only thing I know how to make is air dry clay mushrooms and charging discs because they're super easy. But I want to get better at like molding and sculpting things. I think what's been holding me back is knowing that it's very visual. And like I have this idea in my head about like the outcome of what it might look like, and I forget that clay is a very hands-on thing, a very tactile thing. I get really hung up about the vision thing because I can't see really well. That holds me back because I feel like, oh man, I can't see what I'm doing. I can't have the vision for what I want to create, so that stops me. So I'm just gonna focus on like the hands-on thing and just let my hands guide me and see what happens. So definitely want to like mold things for like decor around my home for magical purposes. I would love to make some clay effigies of things. So I think that would be really fun. Another thing I want to get into is making inks. I think I made a black walnut or chestnut, some kind of ink before, and it molded. And then I made a beetroot ink. That lasted a little bit longer, but then that one molded too. So I would love making inks for my magical petitions, and I'd like to make dyes too, to like dye cloth spell bags for specific intentions. Like there's so much energy and intention that you could put into that ink, knowing the correspondence of the thing you're making the ink from, the color, the energy, the intention you put into it. Like that would be really fun. I'd like to do that. I also want to do more tea tasting rituals or herbal infusion rituals, focusing on one specific plant ally at a time and seeing how I get on with it. So it's a way of internalizing that connection with your plant spirit ally. You're literally, by ingesting or consuming it, you're bringing it within. And to me, that doesn't just have an impact on my own personal energy, my own personal power, but it does influence my spell work. So that's something I want to get into more. I want to, I think, work with one herb a month with those tea rituals and seeing how that goes. But I also just want to work with one herb a month on a general basis as well. And of course, consuming them, I would only do ones that are safe for me, nothing baneful, nothing toxic, and being careful with the ones I have medical interactions with. So that's definitely something to consider. But I love the idea of internalizing that relationship and connection with a specific herb. It's, I don't know, it's a really deep way of getting to know that plant, that herb that you're working with. And I also want to do that with trees within the OM. Now, not all of those are safe. Like, don't make a yew infusion, please. That's deadly. Don't do it. Don't do it. I am not a medical professional, nor am I giving you medical advice. I just want to put that disclaimer there. Do things at your own discretion and give yourself the proper knowledge, and do not consume poisonous things or things that give you medical counter interactions. Okay, so I do want to work with the trees, plants within the OM that are safe. I am developing my relationship with the OM in several different ways, and internalizing that would be amazing. I'll be doing a little divination at the end of my videos to wrap my videos up each week. So this is the elementalFoundations divination spread page that I made. And the prompt for this week is, in what area of my life do I need stability right now? So I kind of like impulsively pulled out a tarot deck. I just feel like this prompt needs more clarification than like what my oracles are gonna give me. I feel like the oracles will help to guide the message on the tarot card. So I chose to bring out the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. And it's a beautiful Llewellyn deck. My first and only linen cardstock deck. So, what areas of my life do I need stability right now? What area of my life do I need stability right now? Woo! There it is. Flew out. Wow, this card is on point. So I had to take a picture of it on my phone so that I could see it more easily. You guys know I have eyesight issues, so I have to make accommodations and adapt things in my practice. From where I was standing, I could not see the details. Normally, if things weren't on camera, I would just bring it super up close to my face, like up close and personal, though I still do struggle with seeing the nameplate, so that's why I either take a picture on my phone or I use my glasses. This time I just opted to use my phone so I could see. But here we have the Seven of Wands. Where do I need stability right now? Having the courage to stand up for what I believe in, to stand my ground, to stay standing tall, firm, and strong, and I can rely on the earth and her energy to help support me so that I can use my own strength to stand firm. And standing for what I believe in, oh my gosh, you guys have no idea how relevant this is in my life right now. Like, wow. So that's just confirming things to me. Very good. Now I'm feeling really drawn to pulling from the Everyday Witch Oracle. I'm not gonna pull from the Elemental Oracle. I'm just feeling guided towards this one. So, what guidance can I receive for being able to stand firm and stand strong, stand for what I believe in? How can the earth support me in that? How can the earth element support me to do that? Usually I wait for jumpers, but this is such a small pile that I don't think I'm gonna get any. Whoa. I almost lost like half of that pile. This one doesn't want to let go. This is it. The oracle card that I pulled to go along with this tarot card says start the seeds. And of course I had to pause and take a picture so that I could read it, and I do struggle with seeing this font. It's just a little fancy. But what I'm feeling is the biggest of intentions can start with the smallest of seeds. That way they can grow and flourish in their own time. So what I'm feeling is now it's time to start the seeds of new boundaries and newly found personal strength, personal power. That way I can find stability in standing up for myself, standing my own ground, standing up for what I believe in. So it's time to set those intentions, to put that in motion. That's what I'm feeling. That was my video for this week's element, but I want to hear from you, Wild One. I would love to know your insights, your findings, thoughts, experiences, and your earthly connections. So I invite you to do a video response or VR to this tag. And if you do, don't forget to use the hashtag elementalFoundations in your video. That way it'll pop up under the hashtag page and others will be able to find you and connect with you more easily there. So if you can't do a video, that's totally okay. Don't sweat it. Don't worry. You're more than welcome to share any of your answers to these prompts down below in the comments, because that's how we can all share and connect and grow together. That's, we learn from each other, and the comments are a great way to do that. You're also more than welcome to just use these prompts to reflect on in your own practice, to journal about, to pull cards on, however you want to go about that. You are more than welcome. But I will see you in the next video, but for now, check out this video over here. And until next time, wild ones, stay wild and whimsical. Bye for now.